Guys, so for this tutorial I'll be using my size 3.5mm hook, my yarn. So this is a lightweight yarn. You can use any lightweight yarn of your choice. I'm also going to be using my stitch markers, which I have inside here, my measuring tape, and my elastic band. So you can use the smaller elastic band if you have that, but this is the size I could find and I'm going to be making use of this. So to get started, for the measurement, you're going to start by measuring around your waist. So this tutorial is for a large, but to get the measurement, you're going to measure around your waist, and that is the measurement you're going to be using for the front and the back panel. So around my waist is 32 inches, meaning my front panel is going to be 32 inches and my back panel is going to be 32 inches. Now, if you want the dress to be slightly oversized but not so oversized like the one I have, you can reduce the amount of chains you're going to do. So you're going to just take off as many inches as you want, depending on how oversized you want the dress to be. But I'm okay with the size I have, so I'm going to be using 32 inches for the front panel and 32 inches for the back panel. But like I said, if you don't want the dress to be too oversized, you can reduce the amount of inches, or if you want the dress to be extremely oversized, even more than the one I have in this video, you can add more inches. It all depends on the size you want for the dress. So to get started, I'm going to start by making a chain that will give me 32 inches. So the front and the back panel are going to be exactly the same. Whatever you do for the front panel is the same thing you're going to do for the back panel. So I'm going to start by making a chain that will give me 32 inches. I did a total of 130 chains, which gave me 32 inches. So remember, my measurement in total is 64 inches divided by 2, which is 32 inches, which you're going to share for the front and the back panel. So for my front panel, I have a total of 130 stitches, which gives me 32 inches. Now for the first row, start by chaining 1. In the first stitch, go in with 1 double crochet. Put 1 double crochet in the next stitch and the next stitch. So you're just going to continue with 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the end of the row. I've come to the end of the first row. For the second row, start by chaining 1, turn over, put 1 double crochet in each stitch. So you're going to be repeating this till you get to under your armhole. Sorry, till you get to under your arm, and then I'm going to work on the armhole. But for now, just measure from your mid thigh or above your mid thigh up to underneath your arm, and then I'll let you know what to do next. But for now, just keep on working back and forth with 1 double crochet in each stitch. I'll let you know how many rows I end up doing before we start working on the armhole. Okay, so now I did a total of 42 rows of double crochet in each stitch. Now what you're going to do is you're going to mark off, as you can see, I already marked off with my stitch marker on both sides of the panel. So I counted 16 stitches away from this end and put my stitch marker on the 16th stitch. Then I repeated the same thing here. So from this end down to where my stitch marker is, I have 16 stitches. So what you're going to do now is you're going to attach your yarn to any you can cut off your yarn and attach it to any end, or you can just slip stitch like I did. So I slip stitched into the first 16 stitches and then I continued with 1 double crochet. So after slip stitching into 16 stitches, I chained 1, and then I went into each stitch with 1 double crochet. Now I'm at where my stitch marker is. You're going to leave out the 16 stitches because you have 16 stitches out here. So for the second row, sorry, for the 44th row, because I have 42 plus this 43. Start by chaining 1, turn over. You're going to do a decrease in the first 2 stitches, so yarn over, go into the first stitch and pull through. You have 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2. You have 2 loops. Yarn over and go into the second stitch and pull through. You have 4 loops. Pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. So you have your double crochet decrease. Now continue with 1 double crochet in the rest of the stitches. So just continue with 1 double crochet till you get to where the stitch marker is. Now I've come to this end where the second stitch marker is. In the 2 last stitches before the stitch marker, you're going to do a decrease. So yarn over, go into the second to the last stitch, pull through 2. You have 2 loops. Yarn over and go into the last stitch and pull through. You have 4 loops. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Chain 1, turn over. And the first 2 stitches do a decrease. So yarn over and go into the first stitch, pull through 2. You have 2 loops. Go into the next stitch and pull through. You have 4 loops. Pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Continue with 1 double crochet in the rest of the stitches till you get to the last 2 stitches where you're going to do a decrease. So what you're doing is you're going to be working in 1 double crochet in each stitch, but in the first 2 stitches you're going to do your decrease, and in the last 2 stitches you're going to do a decrease. So you're decreasing on both ends till you have the measurement you want for your armhole, which I'll let you know how many rows of decrease I end up doing. But for now, just keep on decreasing in the first 2 stitches and in the last 2 stitches. So I'm done with the front panel, and I did a total of 12 rows of decrease on both sides of the panel. So on the 2 sides, I did a total of 12 rows of decrease. Now I'm just going to start by working on the back panel. So for the back panel, you're going to make the same amount of chains you made for the front panel. Since I have a total of 130 chains for the front panel, I'm going to make a total of 130 chains for the back panel. So now what you're going to do is you're going to repeat what you did for the front panel. So once you have the total amount of chains you end up with, you're just going to work in 1 double crochet back and forth. So since I'm basically going to be doing the same thing, I'm not going to repeat this step. I'll just continue with this, and I'll let you know how many rows I do for the back panel before we work on the next part of the back panel. So just since I have 130 chains, I'm going to do 130 chains for my back panel. So I'm done with both front and back panel, and they're both identical. So I did exactly the same thing I did for the front panel on the back panel. Now what you're going to do is you're going to form the neck hole of the dress. So what I did was I stitched the shoulder panel of the front and back panel together. So I stitched the first 22 stitches away from the left side, and then I repeated the same on the right side. So I just stitched 22 stitches. If you want the neck hole to be wider, you can reduce the amount of stitches you're going to stitch, or if you want it to be wider, you can increase. It all depends on, sorry, if you want the neck hole to be wider, you can just reduce the amount of stitches you're stitching together, and if you want it to be smaller, you can increase the amount of stitches you want. But for mine, I just stitched 22 stitches away from this end and 22 stitches away from this end. So now I'm going to work on the lower part of the dress. So I already worked on the front panel, which I'm going to show you how to do that on the back panel. So for that, you're just going to attach your yarn at any end of the back panel. Chain 1. In this first stitch, go in with 2 double crochets. Going to the next stitch with 1 double crochet. Put 2 double crochets in the next stitch and a double crochet in the next stitch. So you're just alternating between 1 double crochet in a stitch and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. You're going to do this till you get to the end of the row. So 1 double crochet in one stitch and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Now I've come to the end of the row, so I alternated between 1 double crochet in one stitch and 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Now start by chaining 1, going to the first stitch with 1 double crochet, put 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So you're just putting 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the end of the row. You're not going to be doing any increase, you're just working in 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the end of the row, and you're going to do this till you have the length you want for your skirt. So from this point you're just going to be working back and forth with 1 double crochet in each stitch till you have the length you want for the dress. I'm done joining the 2 panels together. So the front and the back panel are both identical. What I did was I stitched from the armhole down to the end of the ruffles, and then I repeated the same thing for the other end. So I stitched from under the armhole down to the end of the ruffles. Remember, I did a total of 15 rows of ruffles, which you can make longer or shorter depending on how long you want the dress to be. So now I'm going to work on the arm, and as you can see, I already did one sleeves. I already did one sleeve, so I'm going to work on the second sleeve. So what you're going to do is you're just going to stitch the shoulder panel to make the neckline. And now I'm going to start on the second sleeve. So you're going to start by attaching your yarn at any end of the armhole. Now I went round the armhole with 1 single crochet in each stitch. So I have a total of 92 single crochets. So I have a total of 92 single crochets round the armhole. For the second row, you're going to start by chaining 1. In the first stitch, go in with 2 double crochets. Go into the next stitch with 1 double crochet. Go into the third stitch with 2 double crochets. Then go into the next stitch with 1 double crochet. Go into the next stitch with 2 double crochets. And then 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So you're just alternating between an increase and no increase. So 2 double crochets in one stitch and 1 double crochet in the next stitch. You're going to do this till you're done going around the armhole, alternating between 2 double crochets in one stitch and 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, I've come to the end of the second row for the sleeve, and I'm just going to slip stitch to close up this round. Chain 1. For the third row, go into the first stitch with 1 double crochet. Go into the next stitch with 1 double crochet, and the very next stitch with 1 double crochet. So you're just putting in 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the end of the row. So from this point, you're not going to be doing any increase. You're just going to be going around with 1 double crochet in each stitch till you have the length you want for the sleeves. So I'm just going to do this till I have the length I want for my sleeves, and then I'll let you know how many rows I end up doing. But from here on, you're not doing any increase. You're just putting in 1 double crochet in each stitch till you have the length you want for the sleeves. Okay, so I did a total of 32 rows of double crochet, and this is the length I want for my sleeves. You can make your sleeves longer or shorter depending on the length you want for the sleeves. Now what you're going to do next is you're going to take a rubber band. So I have this rubber band which I measured 14 inches, like I said at the beginning of the video. So I just measured 14 inches and tied the two ends of the rubbers together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rubber that I have, into the first stitch and go through the rubber, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. So you're putting one single crochet into each stitch. So go into the next stitch with a single crochet, yarn over and pull through the rubber and pull through, yarn over, going to the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, going to the next stitch and pull through. So you're just going to keep on putting one single crochet in each stitch till you're done going around the sleeves and everything is going to enter into the rubber because it can stretch. So just keep on putting one single crochet in each stitch through the rubber till you're done going around the sleeves. So now I'm done with the dress and this is what the sleeve looks like. So I just went around the rubber with a single crochet in each stitch. Now if you want the cuff of the sleeve to be smaller, you can reduce the length of the rubber you're using. So this is what the dress looks like. And I know this pattern might be a bit complicated. You can always reach me on Instagram at this is Frances, which I'm going to explain better to you if you have any problem with understanding the tutorial, or you can leave a question down in the comment section and I'm definitely going to reply and explain better to you. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Hopefully I see you guys in my next tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like my video, and if you don't, no pressure. Bye.